Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 6, Episode 23 of the Plastic Crack Podcast. Oh, wait, that's not Dom, that's Steve. There we go. Rules without purpose, rather than people without purpose, which is what we are.
Or meaningless people.
Meaningless people without meaning. We have meaning. We're here to spread joy on a Monday night. Thank you very much for joining us. To my that way, we have Steve from On Point HQ. Down below in Ludford, but with a picture of Ludford behind him, is Dom, because it's dark outside. So
actually, it's not. It's light outside, but you can't actually see that view from my window. I wish we could, but yeah, that is fantastic. That is
when Dom builds his Wargaming retreat there, that's going to be the view. As I was pointing out, that is essentially the view of the Graham Turner painting in his book at the Battle of Ludford Bridge. It's just that there are some dead Yorkists and all surrounding in the foreground and loads of people walking across the bridge. But how are we doing, chaps? Are we all right?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, really good.
Excellent.
Really good indeed.
Good.
How about your good self? You have a good week?
I am. I've had a very good week. I've had a very, very productive week. Everything came together this week. So, but I'm concerned about how pale this beer is.
That is a bit concerning.
Have you had this one? Have you had this one? It's the Brewdog
Wingman. Yeah, I've had that a couple of times. I don't know whether it was just my glass, but it never looked as insipid as that.
I was going to say it's southern. It didn't look as southern.
Listen, Martin, if Steve is questioning the colour or the texture of your beer, you should be really, really worried.
I know. I think hang on, let's have a little taste test. It's not awful. It's quite light.
Not awful.
So, Dom, those ones I had on Saturday, nice. Definitely a two can limit.
I see what he did there. Wasn't one Bruce Forsythy?
I didn't have that one. I had. I had the raspberry cream soda and strawberry.
I'm being all. Oh, we can't even see it because I put the backdrop on. You can't see it. I'm drinking Ludlow Gold, so there you go. I'm in keeping with the area.
Are you just sponsored by Ludlow? Is that
if only. If only. Jeez.
Oh dear. Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We had thunderstorms here. It was glorious, and it's not it's not awful, quite indoors. But yeah, it's like this Plastic Crack Podcast. Not awful. That's our tagline.
Endorsement right there.
We strive for that, to be honest. If we got that, we'd be happy, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Not awful. I've never Googled it really to see if it actually I probably shouldn't. Let's see who we got here today. So Nick Dawson, first man in the house. He's working on some medieval Spanish in the shed tonight. Martin Hoey's here, Red Steph, Carl Burks, Lionheart, Rich M, Trey Janik, Paul. He's in a hot tub drinking JD, watching the weather do whatever it chuffing likes. He's on his holes.
Is Paul doing his best Hugh Hefner impersonation there?
Oh, please tell me he's got a cigar on the go. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
You got a cigar, Paul? We got a cigar.
Grant
Braden. I can see that. I don't know. I could see that. Bicker City, Mike Schubert, John Sobry, Andy Sykes, Mark Riding. How you doing? Pat Neal, Mortzik. How you doing? Too hot to hobby. Disclaimer: not an alias. Too hot to hobby. What a name.
I'm going to start a new channel. I'm just going to call it that.
Yeah. Too hot to hobby. Trevor Hodgkins, how are you doing? Have I got a backup generator because thunderstorms just down the road took out down there? I know, so we'll see how this goes. Andrew Oates, Nick Games, how you doing, dude? The Hobby Brush, Friends of General Haig, Andrew King, Mobile and Hostile, Dave Benton, Wout Hendrickson, Philip Redman, Andy Stocker, Old School, how you doing, dude? Granaprigo, how you doing, mate? Andy Kirtley, Double Dip, Carsten Lander, I don't see it. Wargamer of Kent, how you doing? Mutton Chops. Lynn Harvard, how are you doing? Robin, Ben Lowry, the real Ski, right there.
Hey.
I was getting concerned. Wargaming history, how you doing, dude? Rob Yont, Nathan McGowan, Glenn Paints, hey, how you doing? From a showery Perthshire. Is there another type? Curious.
Questionable.
Curious.
Yeah.
Ewok Kebab, always good to see you. Steve Harbour, Major Clanger, I think I already said. And Tech Saint, it's going to do that stupid thing. Paul Couch, and yeah, Round Monkey, Sticky London, not helping gluing cities of Sigmar together.
Is that all one phrase there? Sticky monkey.
I mean, if your models, if it gets to the point, you haven't got to use the plastic glue on your models because you can just press them together and then that's sort of like they're self-gripping. Then yes, yes. Anyway, thank you for joining us on this awesome evening. None of us, I haven't got the fan in here blowing all of my stuff everywhere, which is what was happening last week and upsetting me. So yes, we are going to be chatting later on about rules without purpose. So I'll keep an eye on the comments. That's a good one. So these aren't rules that you don't like. These aren't, I don't like, cannons that blow up in my face. These are more rules that just seem to exist in a rule set because they're in other rule sets or they're in every rule set. But we've got some examples here and we've got some great examples that have been shared on the Facebook group. And we just wanted to sort of just chat about why. Why are there these rules? And is there an alternative? And see if maybe we can flip the wargaming world on its head and maybe just come up with maybe just go, oh, you don't have to do it like that. I'm talking about the kind of things where you open a rule.
Heresy.
Heresy. You'll be playing a game, and for example, you'll be playing a game, and all of a sudden you just assume. Something like, it's 45-degree line of sight, or that it's that you can't, the way rerolls work, because that's how they always work in every other game. So have a think. We'll star things in and yes, you've already got. I'm going to point this up because I'm going to lose it. The classic: you cannot reroll a reroll. Yes. Is my thing. Why not? God damn it! We are not going to chat about it yet. We're going to come on to it a little bit later. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be worthwhile seeing what these guys have been up to. But do remember, you can pop over to Boards and Swords. You can put all your stuff in your basket, as you do probably on lots of sites. I don't know why I needed to tell you to do that. And you can put the code PCP5, and you'll get another 5% off your already discounted stuff. So bumble on over there and put the order in. Okay, it's time for you two to talk and say what you've been doing, because I've just babbled for 9 minutes.
I think we just leave him babbling, shouldn't we, Steve?
It's that beer.
I haven't had any coffee today, so I don't know why. It is that beer. It is this beer. Yeah.
All right, shall I start?
Yeah, go on then. What have you been doing?
Well, I obviously I'm up in glorious Ludlow, so I haven't done anything for last weekend. But I did before I went away. I was quite productive. So where are we? Oh, yeah, they are. So as you know, I'm knee deep into Italian wars at the moment, and thought I better get on with some cavalry. So I did some cavalry. So. These I'm really pleased with these, because not only did I really paint them, and I quite enjoyed doing it, and I went absolutely crazy with the color palette, but also these are 3D prints. What I printed my own self without any failures.
Blimey,
they look awesome. Yeah.
There you go. So my first unit of gendarmes, or I don't know what they get. I suppose they have to be gendarmes because they're a bit Frenchy. So yeah, really pleased with how they come out, and really pleased to actually get the 3D printer working and churning them off happily.
Should I save my comment about you going to take a photo of it and send it to Warlord and say this is what they should?
It has crossed my mind a few times. Bearing in mind, maybe do we want to do the elephant in the room right now? Because on that, I think that.
Oh no, we'll save it. Okay. Just don't delete that photo. I
won't delete that picture. All right, okay. And also, I did a couple of command bases because why not, really? So I did.
Nice.
This is Giovanni de Medici, the leader of the Black Band, which is apt. Given
is that the one that's on the front of that cover of Wargames Illustrated that really annoys Ken?
That's the one, and I got it.
He's the one who got killed, and then they changed all their colours to black.
That's it, exactly.
Right.
And anyway, they don't reckon that actually they wore black at all. It was actually probably just their black armor.
Don't tell Steve that, he's painted.
There you go. I painted them all black and red because it looks cool, right? So
I'm going to throw mine in the bin.
So yeah, that's one of those giants in miniature figures from Wargames Illustrated. So I just knocked it out. And I don't know whether you saw, but I did a video about recycling figures. So I've been going back through some of my old 28s, and I've recycled loads of those. And I found I had a couple more for a command stand, so I just did an extra Perry with a standard to be on the War of the Roses set. So to make use of a couple of spare men at arms. So that is what I have been up to. There you go.
Really cool. That's really nice. Excellent.
The leafy tufts Ewok. They are all the tufts I use mostly are Amazon cheap tuft box. You can get these.
Warpainter.
Yeah, Warpainter. You can buy them on Amazon, and they cost about about 25 quid or something, don't they, Steve? For about
700 in a box.
700 blooming things, and you stick them in, and then I use a couple of really bright, colourful ones from time to time from the same place Martin uses. Yeah, they're called. I forgot that one.
Taj Mahal 1. All of that there is all of this here is tufts. All of that is tufts from Taj Mahal 1.
So I use the cheapies, and then I intersperse the Taj Mahal ones because they're a bit more expensive, and that's how I use. So there you go. Sorry about that.
Excellent stuff. Excellent. All right then, Steve. So I'd probably spoil it, but what have you been doing?
So sticking with Renaissance Italian wars, I had a bit of I wanted to change of pace yesterday, so I went and dug through all my my spare Lancelets because I'm still working on that starter box. I want to finish it at least this decade. So I thought I'll start off. I want to do a black band regiment because, like Dom said, they're dressed in black and red. And that's what I'm doing. But
I've painted mine. What's not cool about that? I mean, they're just so cool as a result.
They are. But I've done mine grey. I don't like painting black. Anyway, I lost the command frames. I don't know where they are. So I went to the Perrys. So the box of European mercenaries.
You're not on their band list still?
No.
Stuff you do to their figures?
No,
really?
No. Where's my pictures? Oh, they're here. I've just found them. They're all over the place. So I made that.
Oh, very cool.
Which is,
very nice.
I used bits from the European mercenaries command frame and just put Landsconnect heads on them. And they're a lot quicker to paint than normal Landsconnects because they're not bright yellows and greens and blues and reds. Just sticking to a dark grey and a dark red. Quiet, Steve. It's not one pike block. The speed I've been painting, I don't paint quickly with landscapes. But what I'm trying to do with these, I said to Dom before we came on, I'm actually doing something I've never done before, which is batch paint landscapes. Because normally I do them in 4. That's when they're all colourful. I'm actually going to try and paint 8 at a time. Because I'm actually, to finish the starter box, I need to finish this pike block, another pike block, and then it's only 3 of the bases, 2 Zweihanders and 1 arquebus, and that's the entire thing, completely done.
Nice.
But I do like painting landscapes. There's something just a bit different about them. Good palette cleanser. Because earlier in the week I was working on them.
Oh my god!
The guy on the right definitely likes the gym, doesn't he?
Yes, they're the old flagellants box from Games Workshop. They're all ripped completely. I don't know what it is. They're just built like brick shit houses. A lot of them. But yeah, I decided to. I don't know what these are for 1490 Doom. And it was John Sowerby who recommended he was going to try and find some of his old Empire flagellants and use them. I knew I had some knocking around, so all I did was added bits from the Frostgrave Cultist box. There's an old Dark Eldar head. There's an Inquisitor relic, a Grey Knight reliquary. It's just a bit of everything. But they were really, really enjoyable to paint. So that's another Doom company for 1490 Doom done. Now I planned this weekend because I've had a change of heart with 1490 Doom. I was going to use that Battle Systems cardboard scenery, but it wasn't dark enough for me. It wasn't grim dark enough for me. So I've ordered. Well, I'm going to be working on this.
Oh, that's a bit special.
It is.
What's that?
It's
from Gondor, if you want to know. But I'm going to assume that Steed, his hatred of Lord of the Rings, isn't going to be using it for that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a Gondor. It's a dead Lord of the Rings. He's
going to throw it away now. Look, he looks.
I don't know.
That's a yeah. That's an off Gilead.
I had no idea.
It's all right. You're going to bastardize. You're going to fuck it up, right?
Yeah. Well, it's in ruins anyway, and it comes in bits you can take it apart. I got it from this company I buy. I get through Amazon. They do like really good resin printed scenery. I'm still waiting on one bit because the Royal Mail have done me over again. I wanted to get them all primed at the same time, but my next day delivery wildly differs from Royal Mail's next day delivery. By about 5 days, even though you paid £5 for it to deliver the next day. So that's what I'm going to be doing, painting those up over the next week or so. But it's really nice, really good stuff. I've used some of the stuff before. I built those boards last year. The same bits and pieces. They were painted a nice neutral grey. These aren't going to be. These are going to be brown and grim dark and covered in mud and crap. And I found a place on Amazon that does 2-foot circular MDF boards. So I'm going to be ordering one of those as well. Because 1490 Doom is played on a circular board.
There you go. That's something else. Look, that's a game that doesn't require a square board, which is something that we always assume it's a 6.
Yeah, I just assume, yeah. But no, round board it is. So I'll be working on that once I get it ordered. But this week it's going to be Lance Connect for the week. I want to get this pipe block finished as soon as possible.
Excellent stuff.
Good job.
Awesome thing. Okay. I just Dwarven Mustache Hobbying has joined. I love that name. How you doing? Welcome. And then they were babbling about tufts in there, and James was commenting on the price of Tajima. That I agree with Andy, which is they are definitely the best. But then he says that he would have lived a peaceful, wealthy bliss if I'd never mentioned them. I always get caught out by that. If you buy 5, we then give you a box of standard tufts free. Yeah. So I always end up buying 5, which is why I've got stuff like, like heather in spring mix. Right. Roll out. I mean, I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 18 boxes at the minute. I sample from, but they are nice.
Well, that's just why I use the cheaper ones, and then I just use a few of those interspersed with it. I just think then it goes further, and I don't feel that I'm taking out a new mortgage every time a new 100-weight of.
I don't think they're that bad, really. You get about 300 in a box. I think I'm all right.
Can I just point out this? So apparently, hating the Smiths and hating Lord of the Rings just admit you hate fun.
I mean, I'm with you on 50% of that.
I don't hate Lord of the Rings. I just find it morbidly boring. I don't hate it. I just find it doesn't do anything for me.
As opposed to the Smiths.
I just find morbid.
Oh dear. Well, I got up to various bits and bobs. Now, as some of you are aware, we've got a War of the Roses battle report that we're going to be doing this week, because this week is the anniversary of the Battle of Edgecote. And I put about 3-4 weeks ago, I put a vote out to the channel members on my channel, basically saying, gonna play Hail Caesar. It's been a while since I've done a mass battle game. We're gonna do Hail Caesar. What do you want to see? Do you want to see Wars of the Roses? Do you want to see the Crusades, or do you want to see the Punic Wars? And the Wars of the Roses took 50% of the vote. So that's what we went with. There will be. I am going to do games on the other one, but that's it. So, and as it was coming up to the anniversary, and it's quite a. This sounds like a bit of a world. It's a fun battle. It's an interesting battle because it's Yorkists against rebels. There's no Lancastrians involved in this. So it's the Earl of Warwick's cronies who are stirred up trouble. One of them posing as someone called Robin of Reedsdale, who goes and stirs up some mess. Edward sends his forces to go and confront them. Only the night before, the archers who are with the Earl of Devon, the Earl of Devon has an argument with the Earl of Pembroke and just buggers off. So the Yorkists have no archers at all in this. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I needed lots of commanders for Warwick, even though I've got a lot of Warwick cronies, because Warwick wasn't in the battle himself. So I had to build 4 new command bases for Warwick, and I had to build a better command base for William Herbert, because my command base that I got, even though it was one of what I did quite a while ago, sort of mimicking the Turner painting, I wasn't. Basically, I wanted to update it. And before we get going, for some reason, I decided to paint my flags. So this was the first thing that I was doing. Was I decided to, well, basically no one makes William Herbert's flags, and nobody makes the correct flags for William Herbert. There's some flags out there, but they're wrong. And yeah, there we go. So there you go. There's my there's my button counting, my pennantry, as Robin.
Oh, very good, very good. Well done.
But also his badge is the bascule, which is the counterweight for a drawbridge, which is the thing down below. So I just thought I'd make a livery flag for him.
Nice.
See as everyone else has their badges on a flag, and no one does it. It's because a lot of the flags you see, people give him a green dragon, but that's associated with the later Earls of Pembroke in the Tudor period, and it's not the Herberts, it's a different family. So that's why I did them. So anyway, here he is, all done and dusted. So that's the model that I converted last week. I converted the arms, so his arms are in 6 pieces because I wanted him. So that's the commander from the Foot Knight set that you get, but I've completely changed the arms around so it could be swinging a poleaxe rather than drawing a sword. The arms are from a different something else off. I think they're out of the main Knight sprue. Plenty of it. Both the flags, and I'm very pleased with him. And before anybody asks, no, I didn't paint the little white lions. Those are decals. Although I just like to say that I got very angry because I put them on. And then the next day I realised I put them on the wrong way round. I had it upside down. I had 1 line at the top and 2 at the bottom. And then I moaned at Hayley, who couldn't have cared less. And she said, no one will notice. But I know. I notice. So there he is. So there is William Herbert. He's a commander of the Yorkists. So these are the ones I've been working on. Next up, we have Lord Fitzhugh. So another painted banner. That model's the Metal Duke of York, and I've had him kicking around for ages. So these guys are going to be on rectangular basis because they're just going to fill out my units most of the time. It's just that in this game they were sort of promoted to be commanders by Warwick. So that's Lord Fitzhugh. And then next, don't even start. Don't even do it. Next up. This one is James Conyers, or John, rather. It's just everyone called James. So that's Conyers' first son. So another command base. Then we have his little brother, William Conyers. Is that William? One of them's William and one of them's James. I just can't remember which one it is. So again, I did the flags. I sort of created them and then painted them and yeah, it was interesting.
Nice.
And then bringing up, we have Thomas Clapham. Now, I couldn't find any coat of arms for Thomas Clapham because there are so many Claphams that I couldn't actually narrow it down, and I'd lost the will to live because I'd already painted 5 flags by this point. So he didn't get a flag. he couldn't afford one. So there he is. And then here are so that's all of those commanders together. They so yeah, they were good fun, but I think as a they'll work as a unit as well because they'll, as I said, they're just on a normal basis, so they'll just be either men at arms or whatever. They'll just go in my bill basis. And then as I had everything out, I couldn't resist taking this shot, which I think I shared in the Facebook group earlier. So this is one half of the commanders for mine. So I have for this game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possible commanders for the
holy smoke! Wow.
I say 9 because possible because Henry Neville was killed the night before, but in the scenario, because we're going to use the Warlord scenario, but with some changes because there's some things in there that I don't agree with. Because they're wrong. The night before the battle, Henry Neville was rode into the enemy camp and decided to kill some pickets, and then they surrounded him and basically brutally murdered him. But you can roll to see if he makes it out and he makes it to the battle the next day. So we're going to do that for a laugh, just to see if he turns up. But yeah, at the front there, you got John Conyers, then you got his 2 sons, William and James, and you got Lord Fitzhugh, and then a whole bunch of Nevilles in the background. So there we go. It's been busy, and I have completed other things, but I realise I've already talked for a while, so I'm not even going to show those. I'll do those. Well, probably not next week because we have a guest, but the week after that. So,
what's the collective noun for a bunch of Nevilles, I wonder?
A bastard of Nevilles.
Bastard of Nevilles, I like it.
Bastard of Nevilles.
That could describe a whole bunch of people from the War.
Pretty much everybody from the War of the Roses would get that one.
A bastard of Nevilles. Hello,
evening, Tim. Good to see you.
Hey.
Welcome.
Yeah, I don't know why I decided to do the flags. It's something that we thought about. And I just kind of got to. Right,
sorry, that's actually very good.
Gary of Nevilles.
That's very good, Andy. Well done. Sorry,
very
good, mate. So when's the battle happening? When are you doing that this week?
Tomorrow.
Ooh.
Tomorrow. So after this, I've got to get all the forces ready. I don't know if you can see them, but all of see that shelf there. That's all the command bases, not the giant. There's like a giant in the background there. No, he's not. That's the So it's going to be good because in the Wars of the Roses you've got those joint commands, and the problem is Robin of Reedsdale. No one actually knows who Robin of Reedsdale was, and if it was just John Conyers or one of the other ones. It's a really good book about Edgecote by Graham Evans, and he actually kind of puts forward all these different theories about who it could be, and lists it off and. But at the end of it goes, still we have no idea. So I've had to create. So I've got another base, which is essentially Robin of Reedsdale, but not, if that makes sense at the same time. So you kind of got him on the battlefield. So yeah, it's gonna be good fun. So we're doing that tomorrow, and I've been painting up other stuff for Pillage and Baron's War,
nice,
which was
nice,
which has been good fun. So
yeah, I watched your battle this morning over my cornflakes. It was very good.
Different to the first one, wasn't it? Because we kind of knew what we were doing this time. There's a couple of things that have been very helpfully pointed out in a very polite way that we did a little bit wrong, but nothing major. It was more to do with the chart, sort of charging, and it's got to be a straight line. You can't envelop people.
Right.
You just got to charge, and if you get in, you get in, and if you don't, you don't. That way, it kind of limit. If you've got a large unit, they're not all going to get in. So you have to sort of maximize it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to playing again. So yeah, Philip, wasn't the argument over, but that's one of the stories. Yes, is that Herbert and Courtney were arguing over a barmaid. That's the fun argument. And then Courtney lost, so he left and took his archers with him. Which didn't really help very much because Steve,
do you think it was that barmaid in the in that Tudor bar in in Derby, the fake one.
The one that scared the absolute bejesus out of me. That was horrific.
That's the one. Yeah.
Wonder where we're going then with that conversation.
These days, people don't just walk off with their archers. They normally have fisticuffs outside a kebab house.
That's true. Very true.
How times have changed.
The world would be a better place. You just have fisticuffs, then you can go and have a nice old fight with your archer.
Oh, I should. Yeah, I should. Sorry, I will point this out. Robin has painted a command base to help. He did he's got a Herbert. He's done another Herbert, and he found a stream that we need a stream. So he went and found the stream. So yes, you will see that tomorrow. Sorry, Robin, I don't think I have your picture in the pictures for tonight. So I will go and find it. Although, did you see his comment about my flags?
Yes, I did.
He said a real hero would just hand stitch them. Bastard! I said a real friend would have done it for me, but that's
he's too busy doing your terrain. That's his job. He
isn't doing much. Well, shit. He's got to print it. Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah. He's busy building the clock tower for St Albans at CrackCon, which reminds me, actually, the people who are in our game, you're going to get some messages soon because we're going to create a little community group thing, so that we'll be able to chat about that. So. It's been a good week. Everyone's been productive. What a week. Right then. So let's just have a quick look down there. Paul said, "Abide in Oxford. Have you been to Oxford? Enough to give you nightmares." Bitty says, "I have a problem. On the one hand, I could use my War of the Roses guys for the old world. On the other hand, Empire models are really cool." I mean, I would use the Empire models and then use your War of the Roses models for the Wars of the Roses. That's what would get my vote. That's my vote. Excellent stuff. Right then. So on to tonight's topic. So rules without purpose. Now, I've got to give a bit of a shout out because I was watching the Rule of Carnage YouTube channel, and they basically had a stream which is because they're rules writers, and they had a topic. There's a link in the description, so go and check it out. I thought it was really good, and they were basically talking about 5 questionable rules in Wargames. And this kind of developed, and then from that, I was listening to it, and I thought, "Oh, this is quite a fun topic." And we have a lively audience that loves debate, so why not have a look? And so after chatting with these guys, we're basically looking at rules without purpose. In other words, almost accept the rules that we accept because they're in every rule set, and you just assume they're there. And when they're not there, all of a sudden it throws you completely. So, for an example, might be pre-measuring. It seems really nowadays not to pre-measure seems almost sacrilegious. When I said that in my pillage video, when I went through the rules, I've got 5 or 6 comments kind of having a bit of a go at me as if I wrote the rule, basically saying that this is archaic and everything should be open. But it is an assumed rule. My personal one, which I don't get, and we're going to talk about it, is the fact you can't re-roll a re-roll. And we were talking about this before the stream, and I know you guys have got a couple as well, and it's been really good. So just as before we go in, this isn't a pet hate about individual rules for certain periods. We could always do another stream, which is, right, okay. What are the Napoleonic rules that really get you? And this would be like where everyone says that everyone should be able to form square as a charge reaction, and I'll be there with my little flag going, "No, you shouldn't." But I don't know why I wave my hands.
You're flag obsessed at the moment, aren't you?
I am flag obsessed. I've even. Where have they gone? I put them in. I've created loads of templates, saved them, and I've got all sorts floating around now. I've got so many. Part of me wants to go back and redo all my flags, like the livery flags.
Oh my goodness!
Because yeah, I know. It's just some of the ones that I've got are a bit crap because they're just photocopies of photocopies. And I don't know, they're just quite, I don't know, it's just a little bit of character to them, but that'll be for when I retire. Yes, I know, and the children don't need me to go to the shop. Yes, but Right, so shall I get? I'll get the ball rolling on one
You
here,
start.
and this is it. So, okay, one of the big assumed rules is that you can't re-roll a re-roll. So, lots of games that we play, you have the ability to re-roll dice either through, for example, something like command point or an ability that a unit has. So, if you're playing things like Hail Caesar or whatever, you have like tough fighters and you get a re-roll, or sometimes situational things. But a predominant rule is always that you can't re-roll a re-roll. So if you have the ability to, if you have abilities that stack, you don't get to do that. If you have multiple command points in games, that you can't do that. And also that you have to accept the second result no matter what it is. And I was just thinking, because an avid fan of Blood Bowl, you can re-roll as many times as you like.
Yeah,
right?
because
as long as you have the re-rolls to do it.
If you, you can buy re-rolls.
Obviously, you have to have the re-rolls. It can't just be infinite.
Yeah. No. So with Blood Bowl, again, if you played, you've got your re-rolls, and you pay for them out of your team chest, and they're quite useful, especially if you need that touchdown, if you definitely need to make that catch. And you can burn through re-rolls until you either get the result you want or you've burnt through them all and still drop the ball. But that's risk reward. That is, you just keep going. I think it would detract from the game if you could only use one re-roll. I mean, I'd be like, well, what's the point in that? I definitely want this to happen. I'm prepared to make that sacrifice to make this happen. That's one, like we said before we came on, that's one of the really rare games where you are allowed to re-roll a re-roll.
I can't think. I can't think of any other games where you can re-roll a re-roll. I'm sure some people in the comments will be able to help, but I can't off the top of my head think of any other ones where you can re-roll a re-roll. I was just wondering why that is. I mean, I feel if you, for example, you have Wellington or Caesar or Alexander, and if you want to pump all your re-rolls, into trying to get that perfect, result to execute your plan, and have at it, because you're that you're going to waste. Okay, you're almost certain to succeed, but isn't that sort of reflecting their strategic genius? You're not going to get to use them on anything else because you've used them, right? What do you think, Dom?
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I don't really know why that's a thing, to be honest. But I think, like you, I think it would open up a whole load of options if you wanted to, in your case in point, Alexander or whoever as a commander, and you think that they're so good, you can give them 2-3 rerolls within the game. No, it's their choice whether they want to use it whenever they want to use it. I don't really understand the logic of no rerolling rerolls. Just, I guess it's just a mechanic, but why? I don't know, and I can't think of any other rule set where it does.
I just I also like the idea it gives you a range of tactical options, doesn't it? If you roll, I don't know. Let's say I roll a command test, and I'm going to say this just to annoy Steph, because I know he's such a big fan of the games. Let's say I roll a tactical roll in a command order in Black Powder, playing some American Civil War, and I fail that, but I'm about to launch Pickett's charge. My taking the reroll and then rolling it and then getting a better result, because you could roll, for example, a blunder. But sometimes the blunders are advantageous because you can go further than you could get the charge off, couldn't you? And then you go, well, okay, I'll use my other reroll to see if it presents another option. So especially in games like the Black Powder Hail Caesar, where it gives you you get 3 orders, 2 orders, 1 order, no orders.
Are there games where it's such a mechanic where it could really throw serious spanner in the works in some ways?
I don't know. They're saying you can do it in GDA apparently.
Can you?
GDA 2, yeah.
Didn't you could re-roll a re-roll in there? I'll have to have a word with Dave. That's not good.
Quick, Dom, get a post-it note, stick it on the book.
I'm going to remember that. That's useful. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Andy does get it does one reroll speed things up, but does it really? Is it really? I mean, you're just not using it later on. Still the same
exactly.
amount of time,
Just not using it again. So surely, I don't know. So yeah, it does seem bizarre to me.
Say if you have an elite unit that it gets to re-roll its attacks. I have another one which we'll go around for, something that annoys me, but and then they have an ability that then a situational ability that lets them re-roll it. Surely that's the advantage. That person has put that elite unit into a position where they are at an extreme advantage. They're attacking someone on the flank and they're brilliant fighters, so they get to re-roll one miss. And if they get another re-roll, then it stacks, and you can either re-roll to re-roll. Yeah, it's obviously we're not saying that there is a right or a wrong thing. It's just something to consider. Carl is saying that you can do it in Blood and Plunder. James didn't tell me that when we played it, but I'm not entirely sure that what James was saying.
James didn't tell me half the rules in Blood and Plunder. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't, unless the only reason why it isn't in the rule is just for the frustration factor from your opponent, because if you're almost constantly re-rolling a crucial test to make sure you pass it, it kind of could piss your opponent off a bit, couldn't it? A bit.
Can I just say, I've been playing Blood Bowl wrong for 30 years.
See, so this is the Plastic Crack podcast. Not quite awful.
Yeah,
I've had infinitely fun games using it though. I can't believe me and my mates, we've always played.
Well, you're on it. I think you should write into GW and just say, look, I just think you should do this. Release a new edition, invalidate everybody's models, invalidate their.
They'd never do that, would they?
Horus Heresy, and then make. No, not at all. No, that's it's cool, but Tony just said obviously blunders are a bit of fun, but that's where you make your rerolls a fun instead of something you gain every turn. Maybe you purchase them if people are like playing pointed games, or you roll for them at the start of the game to see how many you have available. If you want that random factor, maybe every general starts with every guy gets one reroll. You roll a dice. If he had a bad night's sleep, he doesn't get any. By Fire and Sword. In the pre-game sequence, there's an effect called Good Day, Bad Day, and you basically play it on your opponent, and they roll a dice, and then on a roll of 1, basically they didn't have a good night's sleep, or they had nightmares or something, so they got drunk, so they lose a command point for the entire game, and those aren't rerolls; those are actually the ability to command people, or they have a sudden burst of inspiration and they gain a point. So
wow,
that's my one. It is real. I guess we say, we're not saying should change it, but it's just something to think about. I might just won't do it tomorrow because I think it'll upset people. But maybe for a game, maybe in that set of rules, maybe, and then maybe in that set of rules that I'm working on that's down there, maybe re-rolling re-rolls will be a thing. In fact, I'm going to write down everything tonight that people just push that game and end up with just a mess. Incoherent mess, but it has everything that everyone wants.
But then we'll realise why those rules are as they are.
Then we realise why we have to have restrictions. And then we remember why I sort of tell my daughter, no, you can't do these things because you can't. There has to be order. You can't just have chaos. Mike says your risk reward isn't as prevalent if you can re-roll a re-roll, but then if you're executing a plan, but it will be at a later point. If you're saving them up for that, if you're going, I'm going to launch this cute cavalry attack, for example, they're always the ones that I always find. You need your cavalry to hit to get in, right, in any game. I'm holding my dice back. If you're holding your dice back to execute that perfect attack, your opponent can exploit that. And then if you're holding them and then your cavalry getting, I've just wasted them. I just think maybe rerolls as a resource are kind of more fun if they're finite, but then the trade-off being you can use them essentially for whatever you want. Keep on going. You want to burn 5 rerolls on saving your stupid unit, like the 95th Rifles or something like that. That's up to you. I don't know what it should be.
It is now. It is now, Andrew.
No, that's going to be a stat. That's going to be a stat. Spike. Everyone's got a spike rating.
Well, I like David's idea here. How about a super reroll, like cricket umpire challenge? It can only be used if it fails. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool.
It's like a cricket umpire challenge. Okay.
So in cricket,
Yeah,
if you appeal and the umpire gives it out or not out, you have an opportunity to say, I want that reviewed. And if you're right, and it was either in or out depending on which way you challenged it, you keep your referral and you can try again. But if you're wrong, if you frivolously used it, it goes away. That would be. I quite like that, David. I like that. That could work. Yeah. So you do your reroll and you pass it, then you keep it.
I quite like that. That would be very good for like for a supreme commander, like say well, because let's face it, and I'm going to go back. Sorry, Steph. Black Powder and Pike and Shot commanders do basically nothing. Army generals, they do nothing. They're a pretty base that gives, funny enough, gives a reroll or gives you a command rating. That would actually be quite good if you made it that super reroll, wouldn't it?
I like that.
That'd be quite fun. What about you guys? Is there any, Dom, have you got anything that, like, that is an assumed rule that you kind of, is this just because it's here because everybody else does it?
True, Philip. Haley's the only one who can get a cavalry in on turn one. True, very true. I did it to Martin as well. It must be something about fighting Martin. I did it to you when we had that thing up in Norfolk, didn't I? Yeah. When I came up, and I launched the cavalry charge first turn. Anyway, what am I going to say? I'm going to say the one that comes to mind is around command radius. So,
cavalry like my figures. Enemy cavalry like my figures.
They're attracted to them. I'm going to say I'm going to say
cavalry like my figures. Yes.
Oh, hang on. Am I getting a delay there, or was it Martin? Delay.
No, it's supposed to be okay.
Oh, okay.
I think that was me.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I'm going to say about command radius. So, how is it that in so many games we play, that I play for sure, you can re-roll again, or just inspire troops from a certain radius without even being able to see them? And this is I'm thinking particularly around pre-radio ages or satellite ages. With the radio, you can say, well, maybe they phoned them up and gave them a bollocking to make sure they move forward. But how does a commander who's sitting in or behind a forest command a group of cavalry that are on the other side of the forest and inspire them to do something, or to correct something they've done wrong, just because they're within a certain number of inches? Why does that happen?
Yeah.
That's my one. Because I think it's really odd, because there are, you can, some systems have ADCs. Yes, exactly, Steph.
Yeah.
But even within something like General D'Armée, where there are ADCs to re-roll, you don't sort of send a figure across the table. I can remember old systems that used to do that. You'd actually have to, if you wanted, I can't even remember what the rules were, but you used to play games where you'd have to write your rules or your orders for your commanders, and they had to sort of roughly obey what those orders were. And if you wanted to change it, you actually had to send a scout or a guide or an ADC to the commander and get him to change his orders. And then you had all sorts of things like, would he take the order and all this kind of stuff. And as Steve rightly pulls his face at that one, most people went, screw that, it's too much like hard work and didn't bother.
Life is too short for something like that. My God.
It did used to take forever to play some of those games. So that's why that kind of thing went out of the way. But as a result, we kind of get the system where literally it's like, is he within 12 inches? Yeah, you can see it. He can act. Now, I saw people saying, was it Baron Wars? You have to be able to see to control. Is that right?
Yes.
But you're,
yes, you do.
Yeah. So that sort of gets around. But most mass battle systems that I play, certainly, it doesn't seem to matter. It's just like, yep.
I think. Do you think that's partly because they're assuming a level of abstraction? for those games for those.
I mean, I assume
games.
the thing is with any of these rules or any of these games, you've got to assume that there is some degree of autonomy by the unit commander who knows roughly what they're doing. And I guess all these rules are like that, are just purely to sort of show that sort of degree of autonomy that they have. But the point is, like we just talked about, we're re-rolls. So, if you fail your command, you don't sit twiddling. You go, I'm gonna have a re-roll with my commander. Well, the commander's 40, whatever it is, 24 inches away, but he's behind 3 woods and a village. That doesn't matter. We'll just roll the dice. And that happens. It does seem to happen. I just don't understand why that happens all the time. So there you go. That's my one.
No, that is again, but I think that's something that people assume, don't they? You automatically assume the line of that if you're within that command bubble that you can do it. I hadn't thought about command. What about you, Steve? Have you got any?
Yeah, I know Simon mentioned it in the Facebook group, and it's something that's never across all systems I've played, whether it's historical, sci-fi, fantasy, weird stuff. Saving throws.
Yes. This came up a couple of times, and I wasn't expecting this. This surprised me, and I hadn't really thought about it. But yes, the sort of whole concept behind saving throws, they become a thing, and how they sort of permeated almost every level of Wargame.
Yeah, it's true. And like I say, even just playing years ago, I couldn't really understand it. If you hit something, you've hit it. Have we lost Martin?
I think he's
back.
wobbles. Oh, no, he's back again. I think the storms were affecting.
There you go. You should be able to hear me. I wouldn't be surprised. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, it can now.
Do you know what one game doesn't have saving throws? Space Weirdos.
Ah. Oh God!
You have an under fire table, and this determines what happens to you. And there's obviously this modifiers. The higher you roll, you get knocked down, you get staggered or killed. But there's some instances where if you roll low, something's gone wrong, and your opponent gets to hit you back or shoot back. But there's no set saving throws at all, which I really like.
Valor and Fortitude has no saving rolls. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Soldiers of Napoleon, you get one. So even if you've taken 5 hits, you just roll 1 dice to see if you shrug. It's not even shrug off 1. It's just also less an impact. But if you take 5 hits, you're always going to be taken at least 4. You just sort of roll to take the edge off.
Interesting. Robin said, what did he say? Oh, I've lost it now. It's gone again. Oh, yeah. Saving rolls mean that both people are involved in interacting. Yeah, I get that. I don't mind saving rolls at all. It's not a thing that bothers me in the slightest. But
I kind of agree with Paul, which is saving throws are fine in a skirmish game. But why roll to wound if you've because let's face it, roll to hit, roll to wound, roll to save.
Is that? Do you think it's partly to do with trying to make sure
roll to save?
Do you think it's partly to do with I've lost my pliers? It's partly to do with the fact it's to try and get a good amount of variation in the dice rolls, but not change away from D6s, which everyone wants. Because if you just want to go straight up with a hit, but then Baron Wars, they use a D10, don't they? So and there's a saving roll and another saving roll for a shield.
If you have a shield, but with a D10, you've got quite a wide. Apart from in our game where we actually got quite a few saves, but there is a wider scope for variability, isn't there? The chances of saving some of those things are actually quite small, and they're modified by a morale factor rather than by like modifiers on your weapons. Like they kind of, basically if you're tired, it goes down. I agree. I think these skirmish games. The thing is in Black Powder and those games, which I think people often forget. I think it's just because the language, the way we talk about it, they're not actually saving throws, are they? Their morale save, their morale. It's seeing how what the morale. So when a casualty figure, it's not just you've killed one man. That's not what it is. It's showing just the mounting casualties and chaos and men that aren't able to fight. That's what it's representing. But another one which Tony's pointed out, Dead Man's Hand. There's no saving throws in Dead Man's Hand. You just roll, and if you hit, it's you either miss or how much damage are you doing. Is it a bit of damage, a little bit more, or you just killed them outright? Which is quite brutal. That's a good one, yeah.
Altar of Freedom also apparently has no saving rolls. I've never played that, so I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, it's... At what point are there too many saving rolls? I mean, if we're allowing re-rolls on things, so you do your saving roll and you pass with so many, then you do your saving roll because you got a shield, and then you do a roll because it's your birthday, and then you do a roll because you've had a nice night with the landlady at the local pub, and then you do another one because we're allowing re-rolls of re-rolls. It kind of gets
system. We don't have, you just don't have saving throws.
Well, more sense here from John. There's another vote for Space Weirdos, the opposed dice rolls with variable dice depending on weapon movement and cover. It just works.
Yeah.
Especially the opposed dice rolls as well. It's a great system. And again, it's not conventional, and it never will be. But I like it, especially the under fire one, because you don't know. I mean, obviously, if you've got a higher sort of armor penetration when you're shooting, it's going to increase your chances of actually taking the person out with one shot. But there's so much random in there as well. I think it just works really, really well. I just like it. It's definitely very, very Space Weirdos.
Interesting. I like. I think when I remember again, I'm the old folk again now, but some of the I can remember it almost being a curse when historical games started to have saving rolls in them in some way, because it was like, oh, that's just that's just fantasy does that. It's Games Workshop. And people just seem to get really fed up with rolling buckets of dice and then somebody else rolling buckets of dice to save from those buckets of dice that they'd rolled. But now it just seems to be completely the norm. It's apart from all these games that now everyone's telling us about that we didn't remember. But
yeah. Well, no. It's just, this is the point. But then, I think so. Well, one of the ones which another one, you have to sort of have a look at is some of them is bonuses for charging. I assume, and I think a lot of people do, if you're playing a new rule set for the first time, you look at it and go, what's my bonus for charging? And sometimes I sit there thinking, why am I getting a bonus? Why? Because you're running pal-mal at someone, not on guard. And I think to me that's a hangover from a lot of games. I can think there's a lot of situational there are a lot of situations in games where you should not get a charging bonus, and most of the time it's all when there's pike against cavalry or you're defending an obstacle or something like that. But I can think of quite a lot of other things. What do you think about that? I always find it strange where you get like a bonus for charging. Is it just because we assume that the charging person's got more impetus? Is that it? And that somehow gives them better.
Yeah. I think that is why it is. That's the justification, isn't it? It's, but also it doesn't kind of play. That's very much a mechanical result, if you like, of the way the rules work. Because in reality, two groups of troops coming together, there's nobody really going to be particularly charging particularly faster than anybody else, or maybe in some cases they would be standing to receive it, but whatever. It's two groups simultaneously coming together. But in an artificial tabletop environment, you've got one side saying I'm charging first.
But this is the whole sort of point of this discussion. Is there an alternative? Do we just say table-wide counter charging if your unit hasn't acted or if it's not weary? or it's not setting to receive a charge, you countercharge or something like that. Wargamer Kent, I think, has probably got it, which is it's just to get players to get a move on. Just get a move on. It does give the bonus to the sort of the impetus. But and John quite rightly says maybe a concept of what a charge is wrong. A lot of the time, it's true. Not a well, maybe when you're the ghouls, it's a bit different, but it's not like that, is it? And especially, and also a cavalry charge. Like a lot of the time, it's at the not at the canter. It's not it's very rarely at the gallop, is it?
It's in the movies, Martin. It's in the movies.
As we know, the movies are always right.
Always right. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it could be true. It's just to get people to pull the trigger out and get involved, get their figures moving forward. But I don't have a problem with it particularly, and I actually quite like systems where what I do like is a reaction system. So I noticed your Baron Wars video that you're allowed to do that to respond if your troops haven't already done something. But even that's a bit of a false mechanism, isn't it? Because in reality, in reality, if you're playing, if you are fighting a fight against somebody and they hit you, you wouldn't sort of then go, I can't hit you back because I've already hit somebody this turn. I've already hit somebody this 5 minutes ago. So it's all a bit weird. But if you haven't done something, you can react. And I don't know. It's all mechanics. I know.
It is. I mean, in the Baron's War, the way it works is you can react even if you can receive an order and you have already taken action. It's just it makes you weary. So you could, for example, a unit could move. And then if they get charged, that's their action. And if they get charged and you've got someone nearby that can yell at them to, you can either take a defense action or you can fight back. If you take the defense action, you will take it, but you become weary doing it because they've already acted. So I quite like that. I think that, oh God, I hate this term. I'm going to say it. Actually, balance. That kind of balances the, well, they have reacted to it, but the guys wasted a command point to do it. And now they're weary, so they're not doing it because if they were fresh, they don't become weary. So that's the only action they've taken. So I think that works quite well, especially in that game. Now I don't know if that would translate well to mass battle.
Well, that's a good point from Robin about charging in a skirmish game and a mass battle game are very different. One person shivering you in the back is different to 10,000 men charged up a hill in ranks. And it's true. If you're playing like a really small scale skirmish game, sort of 5-6 figures on a per side, that charge is going to be personal, and you are going to get some form of momentum if you run up to someone and hit them in the back of the head with a baseball bat. For example.
Yeah. No. I completely.
That doesn't. Like Robin said, that doesn't translate into thousands and thousands of people charging other thousands and thousands of people.
Is this all because we recently Wargames rules want to streamline? They want to. Well, not all of them. I'm not tarring every set, but because the simpler they are, because that's what people allegedly want. Is it just so yes want maybe, but.
It's what they tell us we want. Yeah, I do. I actually think that's exactly what it is. And again, I think it's probably symptomatic of the rules that tend to be I go, you go, because it's almost that initiative to have, which I know is probably one of the things that people go, why the hell do you do that as a rule? But the fact is, if it's almost like an advantage, isn't it? You get the initiative,
yes,
and you get to get the first charge, and or maybe the way the rules work, you choose which you do your charge first, and somebody else, even if it's alternate, somebody else gets to charge somewhere else, and they get a big bonus for that. So,
hey, Alex. Yeah. Alex says it does a charge bonus not just include the fact it's hard to hit someone on horseback when on foot. I'm a big fan of the first round of a cavalry charge being all right, and then they drag them off the horses and murder them, basically, because that's generally what happened.
But again, then you have to get into the whole thing about the fact the cavalry rarely would have actually gone full power in. It's not Hollywood again. They wouldn't go smashing through the middle of the ranks. And
yes,
the other
yeah. I've seen that 300 film where the horse rides across the boats. And then charges.
But then they got on a didn't they get on a rhinoceros and charge instead? So and I think we'll ignore the.
And there was a rhino in Gladiator 2. So that must mean it's real. Fucking
it's all
bloody
true.
blood. What is it? The blood crusher of corn. That's essentially what was in Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott was one step away from getting the guy to yell "blood for the blood god." No, absolutely. Well, no, that's just the whole point of this discussion. Well, what we'll do, we're going to go and have a look at the news because it's been a busy news week as opposed to last week. So we'll have a look at some news. And then we'll come back. We'll have a look at what some people have said, and we've got some points from the post as well. And we will tackle the I go you go / unit activation assumed rules. We will have a look at that. So let's. That's because it was made by Ridley. Wad you there, Scott? I know that you've mistyped there. I know that's a typo, but that just made me laugh. Right, 1 second. Let's. Right, where are we? We're officially into the news. Excellent. Dom, over to you.
All right, I'll do it before you.
In our Ludlow studio.
In Ludlow.
Office. Yes.
All right. Well, the blessed Perrys are at it again. They're back to the Franco-Prussian War. So these are. I've lost my list. There's some Crassiers there, and there's some other bits. They look absolutely amazing. I mean, what's not to like with the Franco-Prussian War Perry figures? They are so good. I was thinking about selling my Franco-Prussians, and now I'm looking at these and going, maybe I could squeeze another project in somewhere. But anyway, new stuff from the Blessed Perrys. Also, some for the 15mm fans out there, Flames of War have a new rifle platoon for the Far East. Nice. Soft cap. What do they call those? I can't remember what they call them. The Aussie hats, basically.
Well, the slouch hats.
That's the fellas, slouch hats. That's the ones. Yeah, so they're out and available on their website, and I guess through all their third-party retailers as well. Another one. Put this in the Facebook page, but Gangs of Rome have a new 2-player starter set.
They do.
And 60 Earth pounds.
You get quite a lot in that.
There's
you
a
get
lot
like 3 buildings, a load of plastic in there, the hardback rulebook, all the tokens, all the dice. I was severely tempted, but I feel like I've bought into enough games so far this year. But part of me does really want it. So if anybody who is in the chat who I play games against would like to go and play Robin, then Robin, to be fair, Robin already has the rulebook. So I don't even know why, because he does have the rulebook. We just don't. That did look. That looked interesting.
Yeah, Ed, that's my problem with the Franco-Prussian. I don't know what rule systems to use, so that's what's kept me back on it so far.
After tonight's stream, you're going to be able to write the perfect rule system for it.
Perfect. I can just use your what's your rule system?
Well, no, we're just going to mark it. Who called it Spite? So we'll have Franco-Prussian Spite. And then we'll have War of the Spite. And then Weird Spite for Steve.
It's getting very spite out here. Something like that.
There's a lot of spite.
There's a lot of spite. War bases have some new buildings out. So these look rather fun. Yeah. More of these painted jobbies.
They look excellent. They'd also, I know a lot of people picked up the, Peaky Blinders, Chicago way set. And these would be perfect. The naval. I kind of feel like it has to happen now.
That's going to happen, isn't it? It's a bit like CrackCon. Right, so there you go. Yeah, really nice. Thank you, Glenn, and the team on those. They look brilliant. Now, we also have to talk about the other madman who causes an awful lot of money spent, and I'm not talking about Martin in this case, Mr. Paul Hicks.
He's going to cost me money here. I may or may not be placing an order for these later in the week.
So there's a whole load more of little halflings that he's done. So there's
I know.
Lot,
he said he's got more as
with
well.
the big helmet.
Yeah, we've heard. Sorry. Because I was getting ready to post one. Did you see that he said that the guy on the right was he used that meme of that baby doing the fist pump thing?
No, I didn't. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
So he painted these as well. But I've obviously got all the ones I bought at Salute, and he's going to be releasing these, and he said he's got more. So I'm just going to keep waiting. I'm just going to keep collecting because I think I'm going to make a Midgard army of halflings. I think I am. And then I was thinking I can fill it out with the plastic Wargames Atlantic ones. So I'd have pools at the front, and then just have them as the rankers, and then have pools as the front rankers. I thought that would be quite cool.
There you go. I think that was all I had. I know you got a load of stuff.
I've got some stuff as well. It's been busy.
Very busy.
Right. So, for those people who bought into Pillage or into Pillage, and for those you have not seen, Victrix and Noodle Guillaume, Noodle Games Noodle is his YouTube persona, if you like. His name is Guillaume, but his YouTube channel is also Noodle Games. They've just released 5 additional Pillage scenarios for this little pack called Winding Ways, which is a free PDF. So that's got like the Battle of Stamford Bridge in it and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you go over to the Victrix website, you can just download that for free. So it's 5 more scenarios, which is nice that they're getting on that quite early. I thought we've got another game of that.
Were they written by a robot? Just asking.
I did notice that the front cover is lovely, beautiful models. So hopefully that's put out. To be fair, I'll give big up Victrix because they put out a really good statement about it.
They did,
to be fair, a lot of people like massive corporation. Well, I say corporation. Well, they are a corporation who make more money than Marks and Spencers. Don't put out any statements. For anything to do with that, I've been enjoying kind of watching all this stuff about the Horus Heresy and all the sort of the drama around it over the last couple of days, from fairly what's the right word, sort of somber reactions to just some outright just hilarious reactions. And not understanding a lot of it. Now we're going to bring up something here, which is hopefully Dom has saved his photo from earlier in June. So, Warlord have released, put up for pre-order, some more things for the Italian Wars because they released their Death and the Landsknecht book. So first of all, we have some cannon. Then we have some mounted crossbowmen, and we're kind of getting to the point. And then we have some gendarmes. Now, when I saw these, now the reason we're doing this is because we get a lot of. Sometimes we get flack for like not saying when something is. I mean, I thought these were epic.
I did too
when I saw them, and then I saw the bases were. You could tell the bases were 40 mil. And then so these are so here we have Doms.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I don't know. These are metal and will cost you £56.
So those ones I did. Oh, I've lost it. Hang on, where is it?
Oh, sorry, I just moved it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the ones I bought were these $20 for 9 STLs. 9 different figures, basically. I know you got to print them off and you got all the commitment, but 20 quid.
Yes,
basically.
Yes. I think we'll just go here. As Robin says, they don't deserve a charge bonus.
Hey, there's a criteria, isn't it? You have to judge your opponent's figure and see if they're.
I mean, this is the thing. Okay. I just don't. I don't know. Personally, I think they missed the mark slightly with that one. When you look at some of the other, just because they released that dancing bear for the Revolution thing, that's amazing. I was just like, it's just such a.
I do not get what they're doing there. The book is so fabulous. The rules are really well written, and I just don't get what they've done with those troops. And it's not even the fact the models are not actually terribly well sculpted to me. The armor on those gendarmes is just god awful. But also the paint job they've done with them. I don't know who painted them, but wow, they look like they're in.
I don't know if he's. I don't. Maybe they had time constraints. To me, it just looks like speed paints on a wash. And there's nothing wrong with that for tabletop. Absolutely nothing wrong with that tabletop, whatever. But
there is when you're trying to encourage people to buy your bloody figures at 60 quid a pop or whatever they are. No. Yeah.
Well, on the back of that, I'm now going to show you some GW stuff that's cheaper than those. So GW have had a big. Dom's just drowned. He's just disappeared into the.
Oh, sorry.
You look like you disappeared into the river. GW had a big weekend of announcements. Now I'm not going to go through all of them, and we sometimes get a little bit of flack because we don't highlight GW. So we're going to. Now
Dom we get as much flack for doing them.
Oh, I know, but so I didn't save pictures of everything. Now, for everything that they've done about the third edition of Horus Heresy, which has set their community on fire, basically. I won't go into here, but you can find if you don't know what's going on and you want to watch a car crash, I'm sure there'll be plenty of videos you can go and watch about it with varying degrees of rage. But they got some stuff here. Now, this I thought these were quite cool. So Warhammer Underworlds is kind of like it's a board game / war game. You have set things. It's not Warcry. It's kind of like scaled down from that. So you got these, which are the Kurnoff's Heralds. Centaurs. I like centaurs.
Oh, nice.
I thought these were quite cool. And yeah, I thought they were quite nice. Used in, again, might be quite good.
They look like centaurs crossed with some sort of high elf, aren't they? Something like a wood elf.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, these are. So these are essentially what were the wood elves have now. They now get all sorts of like their tree men are kind of like half elf, half tree. Wow. But one of the big draws for people, as I understand it, is the fact that they've released new Chaos Dwarves to varying opinion, and the other set here is some Chaos Dwarves. Now, from what I understand, that this set has been maybe received.
Why has one got a guitar?
Because everything's better with a guitar.
Okay, just asking.
Bass would be better with a guitar.
Do you get a +1 morale because you got a guitar?
I think you should. You should. I think your charge bonus should be dependent on what your musician is holding.
Also, why is Ken playing it? Because he can't play any instrument.
So there was these, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff, and then there was some specific Space Marine commanders, and I put these on there because I thought Steve might like these. So there were 5 or 6 from certain Space Marine chapters, and I just picked out the 2 that I liked. So here is a White Scar on a jet bike doing a leany thing. So Subodhan Khan or Subodhan Khan, I guess. So yeah. I thought that was quite a nice pose. And then the most emo of the Space Marine chapters, the Raven Guard, had this guy, which I just thought was. I basically put this on here for James because he's on a. Is it a rock? Is it a? I don't know what it is.
I've got no idea.
It's a tactical perch. So he's up in there. So. Anyway,
the head on the left is definitely a early 2000s emo cut going on there. Look at that.
There is, isn't there?
He definitely listens to Bullet for My Valentine and
AFI or some of the.
And then to finish things off, Brigade Games have put up some Highlanders for the AWI. Now, Brigade Games can be quite hard to get hold of at times. I know, Dom, you tried to get hold of, but I wanted to share. So take a look at some of these. I thought these are
they're lovely.
These are lovely. Now
I wish they were easier to get because they do some. I mean, a lot of them are Mr. Hicks again.
These are. Yeah, I was wondering if these were Mr.
I
Hicks.
don't know whether they are not, but I know
I don't know.
I
wouldn't. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if they are. But there we go.
Very nice.
Busy news week. Busy news week
lots.
compared to last week. Remember, you can find all our channels down below, and the link to our to the Facebook group, which is steadily growing. Although so are the number of fake accounts trying to get access and scam people. So we are looking out for you. We look after you. Well, actually, Dom does. Me and Steve just let them in.
We did them last week, Andy. Keep up. We did them last week.
Although maybe he's just saying it, he does get excited. So maybe
just bloody miniatures. Oh, do you think it was
just bloody miniatures?
Rather than,
just bloody miniatures. So right, there we go. Right, let's just have a quick look on the chat. It's a tactical termite mound. It's a tactical thingy. Tactical ruin. Okay, I can see where this is going.
It's a tactical pile of everybody burning their figures that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, no. So, right then. Of course, anything that you saw there that you fancied, check to see if Boards and Swords have it, and then chuck in our code when you do, which is PCP5, just in case you didn't know, like it has been for 2 years or whatever it is. Right then,
time it'll change and then it'll confuse the heck out of everybody.
It'll be like we'll wait until there's some kind of like release that everybody is after. Right, let's have a look. Right, should we do the I go you go thing? Should we do the I go you go thing? Right. So this was posted by a couple of people and an email. So someone's bothered to send an email. It must be a.
They must.
So this is so people assuming. Hang on, I need the exact wording. Here we go. Right. Oh my God, there's people still posting. Why are they still posting on the comment? Right. So people assuming that unit activation is the solution to entire army I go you go. So again, this was the most recent thing I did, which was the pillage review. Apart from the pre-measure, not being able to pre-measure is archaic, which was the comment. The other one, the biggest one, was the fact it's I go you go whole army. So I move, then you move, then I shoot, then you shoot, and then combat is simultaneous. That people didn't like that. They wanted alternating activations, and this was Carl, and he was essentially just saying that unit activation is people now assume the assumption, is rule without a purpose. It's just been built as an it doesn't actually, unit activation by unit doesn't have a purpose. It's just because it's the opposite of the I go you go. Steve, you had some thoughts on this, so I'll come to you first.
Did I?
Yes, bolt action and stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like bolt. Bolt action chain of command. I think so. With bolt action, obviously, you got the order dice, and that for me, that's always represented hesitancy. Who's grabbed the initiative? Who's ducking behind a hedge because they're not keen on running away or running out of that cover. Chain of command. So yeah, that's sort of you roll your command dice, ultimately, but you aren't always guaranteed to get what you want with a command dice. And again, that's alternate movement. But yeah, it's been a while since I played a game where it was big enough that you had that. I mean, I remember when we played old second edition 40k, that was very much I move my army and then you move your army. And for a while, that was just the way it was. It was just that was the established thing that you did, especially with Games Workshop games. But I think trying to find the perfect activation mechanic, do you think it will ever be found that everyone will be happy with? Because I don't think it will. I just don't think it will. No.
It's all a compromise, isn't it, in terms of playability and the way the rule writer wants you to
We did them last week. We showed the king and everybody last week in the news. We showed them all. We showed all the packs.
Yeah.
We had the email and showed them all off. It was Dom.
I screwed up who they were. So
yeah. Dom got it really wrong.
I got it very wrong. So we know we got it right. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's again. I wonder whether this is more of a skirmish versus larger scale game thing in terms of the activations, because again, I think because the impact of a skirmish game of moving everything and then, as opposed to just moving one unit and then the next person moves their unit, it can be quite considerable, can't it? I mean, if you get lucky with your attacks and you get everything to work on, it can be devastating in a skirmish game. Less so in a big battle. Now, so I'm intrigued by the fact that again, Baron Wars has that same activation system, because it didn't seem to actually work totally. Yeah, it didn't seem to affect things badly.
No, but no, it didn't. I think that's because it slightly limits your actions as well. So and also you have the ability to just pass. And if you pass free, and if I pass, then you're like, well, no, I'm going to pass. Then I'll pass and end the turn because it's free.
Yeah, then it's all over. Yeah.
I have to agree. I mean, essentially, we're talking. It's initiative, isn't it? It's how do you resolve initiative in turn? Lots of people roll at the start of the turn. That's very common and almost assumed. In a skirmish game, I think the I go, you go, I activate a figure, you activate a figure, or small unit. I do think it works, but then I don't want to get philosophical here, but I guess it also depends on how the concepts of time within a game. In a skirmish game, a round, I assume, is meant to be a few, maybe just a minute or 30 seconds of time, whereas shifting an army around the battlefield, the larger scale, the battle, the time shrinks. So moving an entire division. You see, I always quite like the idea of having alternating, the brigades alternate. For example, in Black Powder, so you would activate a brigade, and I would, or you would almost roll an initiative order for them based on their command rating. So you'd roll it. I don't know, just for example, 2d6 and add their command rating, and then that's the order people go in for the turn, which I guess is random. And I have seen some comments about a bit more randomization, but then is there a factor that you can bring to bear? That where they're how, depending on how they're the level of how tactical they are, tactical genius or something, that changes it. I think it's certainly when you get up into army games, I think moving, I prefer actually whole army movement. I quite like it. I also like it for filming because it's a lot easier.
It is.
You know what I think what was a good activation? X-Wing. So when so the lower pilots, it was all based around your pilot skill. So if you had a really low pilot skill, you move first, and then the higher pilot skills move last. But when it comes to shooting, the higher pilot skill shoots first, and the lower pilot skill shoots last. So this represents, better skilled pilots taking the time, to maneuver to where they want to be, rather than the impetuous sort of lower skill pilots. But then they use their better piloting skills and shooting to be able to zap people before they get zapped. Simple, but it worked really, really well. Especially if you ran, like I used to run really small lists of high pilot skills, so lots of interceptors with sort of pilot skills 8 to 9. So I was moving last, but I was always guaranteed to shoot first against sort of swarm lists. So it was a good way, a really good way of doing it. It was fair, though. It was fair.
Sorry, we should bring you up here because, you were fine. He said he thought we showed the conspirators and soldiers. No, we had the other ones as well. Back in the hot tub, Paul. Back in the hot tub.
How many whiskers has he had? I like the activation system for muskets and tomahawks. Do you remember that one? Especially the newer version. I do 5 like cards. And you can, so every unit will move at some point, but you get 5 cards, and you have to play one of them from your hand.
and it could be activating the
and
enemy.
It could be the enemy's activation, which
So so you've got it. I like
it becomes a tactical process to work out when do I make my opponent move those units that I know are going to put me in trouble, or do I wait? Good mate, well done.
I really like that because it's combined that random factor, so the fog of war, the chaos of war, and it presents you with a situation, and you've got to make the best tactical decisions in that situation. So, and I really like that. So, and also like better and Robin's just said this here. Better units have more cards.
Exactly.
Better trained units have more. So I really like that. Right. For example, I play muskets and tomahawks, and you get, and you'll get like the morale card. You're like, oh, I don't want to play that because when I play it, I've got to test my bloody morale.
Yeah.
Do I do it now and waste my activation, or do I do it, or do I activate someone else? But I could take more hits. So I do think that, and I think that really kind of like tests your skill, which is ultimately what a lot of these games.
And also because you have that random bit in there, so you can collect. I forget what they call it now, but we use biz caps for it. But when you get certain things happen, you can collect extras, and then you can activate a unit out of sequence by burning some of those tokens.
Yes, I let your Highlanders activate. That gives me some command or whatever. And then, but also it's if I remember, it's 2 points to do a reroll, which you should be able to reroll, and then 3 points to activate a unit, and then 4 points to ready a unit or automatically rally a unit or something, isn't it? And then there's up to 5. But that's good. Just give people options. I would like to see, especially because this is one of the big things we said, that skirmish games, you have to have a lot of options because you're emulating fighting on the small, so you need to have sneaking, you need to have hand to hand and stealth and whatever, all these different things. But more options at the tactical scale for actual maneuvering and things would be quite nice as well, rather than just change formation and move. Be quite nice. Not a bad system to maybe to bring into things is actually a command point system whereby yes, you could either use as rerolls, or you could maybe reactivate a unit. Countercharge, you can react, you can do your reactions. Maybe that's how you get your form squares off. You do it automatically, but so long as you have the command points to do it. Anyway, it's a good one. There's some great stuff coming in here. Hang on, let me just catch up with the chat. Alex has said to go back to Blucher again, it's essentially I go you go, but the unknown countdown of the MO means you have decisions to make before your initiative shifts. Good. That pressure is good. I need to play Blue.
Which I kind of like. One of the things I like about the bolt action activation was that randomness of pulling the dice and depending on how many. But then I particularly like way people play it by they put in a turn ends thing within it. I agree. It's really clever.
I agree. But I think that if you have an I go you go system, you need to have more reactions than down.
True.
Because you need to be able to.
Hobby horse. Here we go.
I'm not a hobby horse. I just do. I've always said no. I've always, which is why I enjoy conflict. Or what I don't know how conflict has changed with the new edition, but I enjoyed it. That there were quite a lot of reactions that we could do. Like, oh look, you're driving towards me. Well, my options are just to hit the dirt. I can shoot at you. Great.
Yeah.
Which I think is an idea in skirmish warfare. I quite like in the Barons War. I know we come back to this, but it's because it's a recent rules. It's not a recent rule set, but it's recently that I played it. That if you shoot at me and I haven't done anything, I can just react by shooting at you. It's like you resolve yours. You resolve yours first, and that's actually something else in the Barons War. Combat's not simultaneous. If you are fighting back, did you realize? Did you like that?
Yes.
It's you. We resolve all your attacks. And if I've chose to fight back, I only fight back with who survived.
I like that because it's a risky decision, isn't it?
That's why.
Or do you
at the end
defend?
At the end of the last battle, where I was humming and back and forth about whether or not to charge Robin's commander because I was winning the game, and I was like, I'm going to attack him, but if he chooses to fight back, which he's blatantly going to do, and I screw this up, which I often do. He's going to kill my commander, and I will snap because I knew spoiler alert, I won, but by 1 point, I just sort of squeezed a victory, all because I just managed to get that objective. In the end, I did go for it because he goaded me, and I went for it, channeling the character that was my general. But I did like it that you had to really actually consider that, the option. Obviously on the camera it's seconds, but I was umming and ahhing for about 10 minutes about what to do. Steve, before we just come off of that, is because you play mostly skirmish. I mean, basically 99% of what you play is skirmish. Would you feel comfortable doing I Go You Go again, or do you think it would throw you a bit?
I don't know. Like I say, it's been years since I actually played a big game. I Go You Go, the traditional way. I don't know. I really don't know. I think with skirmish, I mean, Space Invaders is traditional. I Go You. Well, it's not. You move all your force, then it's individual figures, but I think that works well for small scale skirmish games because a game of Space Invaders represents about 45 seconds of combat, and I think it's nice that it represents people hesitating or other people taking the initiative, which I really like about the really small scale skirmish games. They are. I've always often described Space Invaders as just short, brutal encounters where most characters are dead by the third turn. So it becomes a moot point after that.
Not much point of a campaign game then.
Oh no, you can. I mean, you could obviously say because me and my mate have discussed it. You use the old Necromunda campaign system, but just play it using Space Weirdos rules. I prefer games like that. I don't like games that are just plodding and you're there for hours, nothing happens. I want brutal encounters where it's all done in an hour, and I think that activation lends itself to that.
Oh, we're gonna have a brutal encounter tomorrow, but it's probably going to be about 6.5 hours. It's going to be brutal, but it's going to be very long. But so looking at just some of the other ones, I mean, we've covered quite a lot of these. Gary's hatred of saving throws, and to be fair, I hadn't considered the saving throw. I didn't realize that and that is fair, rules without purpose. If you have hit and you have wounded, or if you maybe Dead Man's Hand does have the system, just your hit roll and the degree of success is dictates how much damage you have done, and that's it. Interesting. Where was I've just lost it? Where did it go? Ken Riley. Don't know if you've heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. I quite liked his one here. Multiple morale checks drive him nuts. Everything within 12 inches must test if the standard bearer in one unit has got his undies on the wrong way round. An hour later, you then start the next turn. And I said this to you guys at the start. I think that people, maybe I'm wrong, I think morale systems seem to be the thing that rule sets struggle with the most. And I sometimes feel that they are, maybe an afterthought is the wrong word, but they're not. Everyone wants the command system and the combat, because let's face it, it's a war game. And then you kind of go, oh, now I need a way to show that they're afraid, or there's a morale system. Sometimes I feel that they're overly complex, and at the end of it, it still just results in someone running away. Other times I feel they're just overly simple, or they don't exist at all. So, but there does seem to be an assumption that yes, if something bad happens to a unit, then another unit that's X distance away must then do something or situation with us. What if you got a game where the morale system stands out? I'm trying to think of one where I really like the morale system. I love my standout for me will probably be Soldiers of Napoleon. I think the morale system in Soldiers of Napoleon is outstanding personally. I love the way it works. You have when you rally, you first of all you're rolling to see how many sort of disruption markers you're removing. Then you rally around the colors to see if you can get rid of disruption. Then you reform the unit. There's actually like a sequence to go through for the units to see how well they do. And I feel like it's quite well thought
Does that
out.
slow the game a bit though?
No, because that's the action that they take. That because it's card activated. You draw a card and you decide whether or not you're using that card to activate for rally, and it tells you what troops can rally. You could draw a card and it might only rally elite troops, and you're like, I haven't got any elite troops. You can either play a card to rally. You can play it. So it has 3 things on it: a rally value, a big number, which is the number of orders you can issue, and rally can only be done if it's played from a card. It's not an action; you have to play it off a card. And then every card has a special action on it, like like a bombard or extra shot or surprise charge. So no, I don't think it slows anything down. You get your card, and usually it's the good card. So a card that has, for example, 6 actions. So you go, oh, I've got a brigade with 6 units. All these units are going to do something, and then you're like, oh, I need to rally. But my only card that's going to rally everything is my really good card that gives everyone the orders. Now I've got to waste that rallying, or I don't, and my units are going to be destroyed at the end of the turn.
Disappear,
so I like that system. I think other systems are very ones where so you roll a dice, 1 or 2, off they go, and you're like, oh.
See, in some ways, I just saw Jamie just said the same thing as I'm about to say. So you quite like this cascading routes along the battle line you get in Meg, unless I'm on the receiving end of them. I'm with him on that. So again, I think it depends on the battle system, but when you're reading a battle of, I don't know, a classical battle in Hellenistic period or something, the ripple effect of a route tends to roll across the battlefield. First one wing goes, then another one. I kind of like that as a system, and I do like a mechanic. I agree that I think sometimes the rules are a bit clumsy with the way they do that, but I actually don't mind multiple morale checks on things as long as it's for a sensible system. So I think Black Powder, which is a system which I love and I use a lot, I think their morale system is terrible. I just don't think it's very good at all, because it's almost like, well, suddenly you hit that roadblock of half your brigade has been shaken or destroyed, and they all bugger off. That's whereas if you play the ACW version, the regiments don't bugger off. They become whipped and they start to retire off the table, or they move away, but they continue to act. So they continue to fire and behave as normal, but they're not allowed to advance towards the enemy. So, which I kind of like as a mechanic.
I quite like that. The War of the Roses one. This is one of the things in the book that sort of perplexed me a little bit. Was this idea when the brigade goes that when the battle or the division goes, that the enemy division suddenly mounts and everyone changes into a mounted unit, and you're like, hey. I was a bit confused, but I know it represents all these times that people were pursued, but yes, that pursuit did happen with light horse, but it did also happen on foot, and and I didn't quite. I get what he was trying to do, and I understand it was to emulate that the route, but for me it just seemed it didn't fit what everything else that I thought was good. But yes, cascading stuff is good. Alex says the shock system in Too Fat Lardy games is unbeatable.
Again, I think it's good. I was going to say I quite like that in sharp practice games, but again, it's a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it's brilliant, but it's a nice middle ground, because effectively you get worn down, so your effectiveness goes down. And you hit so many shock, you have to retire. But then you can lose that and come back. So I get that. But you never, it takes a heck of a lot before a unit does actually run. And the fact your one's gone doesn't mean somebody else goes next to it, which if I was in a skirmish line and the line behind me buggered off, I'd be looking behind me going, I'm not sure about a bit of shot practice. That doesn't happen unless your army morale's broken.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I quite like in because this is how casualty removal works in Soldiers of Napoleon. Is to say you've received 4 disruption. So basically, when you have received disruption equal to the number of stands in your unit, the unit are destroyed at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you want to try and rally them. Now, when you perform a rally action, one of the things you can do, the first thing you can do is remove a stand to get rid of 2 disruption. So basically, you weaken your unit. You are making that decision to weaken the unit to get rid of disruption. So say you've put 4 disruption on my 4-stand unit. I will then go, I will reduce, right, I will get rid of a stand to get rid of 2. So now I've got 3 bases left in my unit with 2 disruption. After that's been done, you then do the roll. And the roll is, right, you roll how for each point of disruption. So we'd have two dice, and basically on a roll of 6, because it's then rallying around the colors, on a roll of 6 it gets rid of disruption. So you have the moment where you can choose to reduce it by sacrificing a unit, and then you do the random factor to see if there's
it's a similar thing in the new Italian wars, is that you can, if you got a mass pike block, you can decide to add a wound to your pike formation to get rid of disruption, which I kind of like as well. It's a clever nuance to the rules.
Yeah. Wargaming History said British Grenadier is a great disruption system. Let us know in the comments how, sort of, if you can, if it's not too complicated, what that is, because I'm not familiar.
Do you think a lot of those fatigue type things? Sorry, I think about all these fatigue type things. Do you think that's because of largely figure removal has gone out of the game? So what you described, Martin, is sort of like it used to happen in old school games where you count out how many figures you got, or you rolled the number of dice equivalent to that. So naturally, as you start to lose figures, your unit becomes less effective because you're rolling less to hit or whatever it may be. Whereas most systems now, not everything, but they have a fatigue amount, and the unit never changes. So I think that sort of maybe was why that's happening more than anything else.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well in a skirmish game, in a say if we're only playing Space Weirdos, for example. I mean, I would imagine that it's much harder to write the morale rules when you're dealing with individuals.
It is. I mean, especially with Space Weirdos, it's quite traditional. You use there's you use your leaders. Do you want the stat escapes me? It's only got 5 stats, and I can't remember it. You test on them, and then if they're downed. To be fair, the games I play, I've never. It's morale's rare to come into it because most people are, like I say, normally dead by turn 3, so it's not really a massive factor. But with bolt action, I do like the morale, and I like the pinning. What I don't like is that. So the more pin, it has changed slightly with 3rd edition because, and I've not played it yet, but I do believe that when you rally, you just remove all pins.
Oh, yes.
It used to be D6, and I thought one of my tactics used to be just to try and pile pins, and then if you can rally and just remove all of your pins in one go, it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's
but they've wasted a whole action doing it, haven't they? I guess from the other, someone's wasted their action to get rid of it all. Whereas before, I guess if you spend an action and you only remove one, then it's that random versus
it could be
surety.
I mean, that was always as your NCOs, you've been inspiring you enough to get you back together to get you over that wall, or as he fail and you just don't want to do it, and so your pins are still reduced. I used to love that tactic, just absolutely just targeting one section, one squad, and just pinning them completely out of the game. You don't have to cause casualties. You just have to just lump pins all over the place.
We used to describe it as pin action rather than bolt action. It was more important in some ways to pin somebody than it was.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, so I mean, if you can, turn a lot of fire on one section. It was possible to pin a unit out the game completely and not take any casualties because they cannot pass order test with the amount of pins they've got.
Right. I think that's been a really good chat. I'm just going to roll quickly down some of the start comments because there's some funnies. So we're going to go through. So Bitty said rules without purpose. Age of Sigmar. Old school. I like this, and I feel like movement, a bit like morale, is kind of like let's assume rough ground halves movement. just
why?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Maybe do you prefer it returns to randomized movement? Would you prefer that? Like, so you have so if you're on the on the flats or the roads or that, you have surety of movement. That's in my rule set. That was what I had. I had if you entered rough ground or if people were trying to push themselves, then it became more random. If they were cavalry, were always a bit more random, just because horses are a pain in the ass. Andy, definitely the best. Oh, that's he's talking about Tajma one. Sorry. Today is the anniversary of the Battle of Shrewsbury. Today was the day that good old King Harry got an arrow in the face, and then had it. I did see a comment. I saw a comment on Graham Turner's painting where someone said it should have gone deeper because they hate him. Because he was, I think it was a French person. They were like after all, some of them, like, the more questionable things that Henry did. I was like, well, okay, that wasn't what I was expected to see this morning.
Some people can half bear a grudge, don't they?
Bitter French people, surely not. That never happened.
Bicker City, yes. Orcs, elves, a dragon, huge battles of a magical ring. What a snooze fest! Oh, I thought he was talking about just things without a purpose. Orcs, elves, dragons.
I think he was saying about not liking
Lord of the Rings.
Mike, along with like cover saves, isn't that the part of it to hit roll? Yes, save. I always feel like cover should affect the ability to hit someone rather than their ability to save. I never quite. I get if it's like a bonus to morale because you're behind, you're defending something and it's easier, and you're like, it's easier. But yes, I don't quite understand why. Hard cover.
Well, that was the big thing with Bolt Action 3rd edition, wasn't it? They introduced a cover save, so now you get your cover save and you get your the standard 3-4-5 save. Oh, sorry, the kill save. That's the right way to put it.
Okay. I never understood that with things like Bolt Action, where you could have troop behind a wall, for instance, and they go down, but you can still shoot them. But they're laying down behind a wall. How do you even see them?
Well, all it does is give you +2. It just gives you +2. But if I remember, it wasn't cumulative, was it? Am I wrong? So if you were behind hard cover and you go down, you didn't benefit.
Yes, it was.
Both,
you was.
You did, yeah.
And especially if you were a small team, so you get small team, cover, and down.
Right, okay. John said, I'm not quite sure what it was. If you tied them to specific commanders and you can tie them to specific traits, they could get. Where people maybe get rerolls. I'm a big fan of giving commanders individual stats and personalities. It does add to the bookkeeping, but I feel that in a mass battle, the individuality of your troops doesn't really matter. It's the commanders who you are going to give that sort of spice, if you like, in a game.
It just allows Martin to be more spiteful of commanders he doesn't like. Just saying.
I gave you amazing rules.
Clifford.
All right, let's just face it. No one likes Clifford except you.
I love Clifford.
Not even Clifford liked Clifford. Right?
See, there you go. Judging.
Also, no, I gave him a Commander 7, but what was it? He got loads of attack. He got Commander 7, and then his men basically never failed a charge because they were just. I mean, obviously, it also meant they charged when they weren't supposed to. But
exactly. Give and take away.
I like him. I've got to be nice to him because you're lending him to me for the CrackCon. So
better up his stats otherwise.
Wargames history. Most new rules want a fast game, not grit like old rules. General the brigade requires a courier. Wargamer again. I quite like saving throws. It gives you a chance to roll dice in your opponent's turn and protect your troops. That is a thing, though. People do want that interaction. Turn. Andy, saving throws are because without them, the base systems are too bloody. You could say basic systems are the fault. True. Maybe they just need to. They're almost a mitigating factor. just because someone puts it in, just to go, oh, we just don't want the game to be over tabled very quickly.
Also, it maybe again helps with the randomness. Maybe, I don't know. I quite like I do quite like the fact your opponent gets 6 hits and you manage to save them all and look on his face. That's quite fun.
I do enjoy that. No, well, it wasn't the last game. Friends of General Hague, legend has it Warhammer had a saving throw, so the other player had something to do in the other side. So, well, it's that Kings of War. You don't have save. You don't do any. You don't roll anything in the opponent's turn in Kings of War, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure they roll to hit and then they roll to wound. And if you wound, then that's it. You just put the. I think the only thing you roll is your morale. I think that's the only thing you do is take a break test. So they hit you and then they wound you, and then you take those casualties and put them on your unit. And that's it. Storm of Steel. In the original Warhammer, Brian Ansell made Rick Priestley only use D6s, which meant he included the saving throw to stop it being so swingy.
Yeah, that's what I understood. Yeah.
Paul, cavalry should only be able to countercharge if they move during the current turn. Horses running at full speed are only covered to 200, 500. See, that would probably throw a lot of people, because a lot of people say if you've activated, you shouldn't get to do something. I completely take your point. It's a good point.
Yep.
Jamie M, I quite like cascading routes on the battle line in Meg. Yeah, he said that. And Paul said shut up, Paul. You're in a hot tub and you're drinking whiskey.
I was
misunderstood. The thing is, the great thing about Clifford is even the Lancastrians hated him. They just kind of moved. That's why they moved him along. No one wanted to be with him. They kept on getting
everybody hated everybody in that period.
No, I think there was especially every time he got
Yorkist mythology, Yorkist propaganda. Here we go.
Yorkist. I agree. I hate the Yorkist. I'm all about Warwick. He gets moved along. It's like every time he was positioned with someone, they kind of move him along. Like, no, I really don't want to be with him. I really don't want to be with Clifford. I think it's just because they knew the arrows were going to land more around Clifford than anyone else.
Probably.
Guys, we are fast approaching at the end of the stream. Thank you for what has been an awesome chat. Let's have a little look at some of the photos that are in the Facebook group. Just a reminder, the link to the Facebook group is down below, and we love to see your photos of games and weirdness and wonderful paintings, so please do go and post them up. First of all, we have Dan. Now he has been working on his Ruckus
nice
retinue, and I couldn't see an overall photo, but I really like that. I just really liked how clean the livery was on the chap in the middle.
Really
I believe he's a Swiss, but yeah, really nice, lovely basing as well.
Yeah,
excellent. Andrew, some cavalry. Look at the base of cavalry cannon stuff. Look at the base. Look at those.
Oh wow! I hope they get a concealment roll. Oh, fantastic! I love it.
Maybe you should do cover saves depending on how many tufts are on your base.
Yeah,
pay to win. David, some 40k.
Lovely stuff.
And want to say a Vindicator, but I'm not sure. I think that's what that is. Very cool. Very nice. John has been having some space battles.
No,
this looks really interesting. Actually, I love the fact that a lot of the ships are scratch built as well.
What I also like is how the what I believe are his kitchen, his lights, which are sort of like down, actually look like sort of stars or like
yes.
It's cool. Very nice. Keith has been working on some. These AWI, aren't they?
They are. They are
very
indeed.
Nice. Very nice. Look at those sleeves, Steve. Look at all the piping.
They are really nice.
New sphere, taking it to new levels of goblins coming through a portal. I mean, that's ace. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Wow.
I love his photos.
Fantastic.
I love his photography. It's so cool. That makes me want to do goblins just for that. Kevin, he Conflict 47'd up some mech models that he had.
That's really cool.
To be fair, I think he's done a good job.
Yeah, very nice.
Awesome stuff. Nick, now I believe are these Hungarians in Austrian employed?
Yes.
I believe. Yes.
Well, they're employed,
Well,
but they're part of the empire. But
Yeah. Look at that. Very, very cool. That's a lot of white. And then Kerry, check these out. Look at those. Good old
wow.
Kerry's. Lovely.
Wow.
Really clean. With and I appreciate it because Ken has his thing about different colored trousers. He doesn't like it, does he? But
No.
I appreciate. I think so. I really like that. It's just really nice, that set. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Paul has been working on some landscapes.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Any fun skirts game, a ruckus band. Really cool. Lovely. Stephen has painted up the new Commander Dante. That's really nice. That gold. Gold. Oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. You're just cracking painting, dude. It's really nice. Other Paul has been doing. These are some DAC. Yeah, we like some DAC, don't we? Someone called Robin has painted a Ragged Staff miniature from someone to do William Herbert's brother. This is Richard Herbert, who.
It was a proper Herbert.
It was a proper Herbert. He's the guy who essentially did the thing that Spears does in Band of Brothers. So allegedly he fought his way through the rebels, turned around, and then came back. He was a bit of a lad. So very nice base to be in tomorrow's game. Rob was showing off some of his 10mm.
Oh, blimey!
Look at that.
Oh, wow!
Lovely. That'd be very nice to see in a game. And then we finish with the ever weird and ever wonderful Warren. What are these maggot men?
Of course they are.
Something like that. I mean, it's making me itch just looking at them. Lovely stuff. Guys, we love seeing the photos. Please do. Keep them coming. And thank you for tonight. I really enjoyed that.
Very good.
There was actually some really good suggestions. It was not as controversial as I thought it was going to be. So after a night of general discussion, next week we're over with Dom. With a very special guest, aren't we, Dom?
We have the master painter Duncan Rhodes coming over to give us his insight into how he got into the whole kind of hobby world, and hopefully give us a little bit of painting advice, because God knows.
What you about to say, he's going to critique our painting? Like,
that would be really cool. I'm actually not going to put anything up next week. I'm just in now.
No, I'm not.
No. No, it'd be great to have him on. I'm really looking forward to him coming on, and he's hopefully he can give. I need to contact him this week and find out how far down the line he's happy to go with reviewing stuff. But hopefully, if he's up for it, we can get people to send in some pictures of their figures. Yeah.
And send in some questions as well, guys.
Please.
Now, because it won't just be obviously he's obviously ex-GW. That's everyone knows him. It won't just be about GW. I know he does historical reenactment, or he did. I don't know if he still does. I'm sure we'll be able to get him on some history questions. So pop your questions, either email them or when Dom makes the post, pop them up in there. And on that note, we will leave you to your Monday night, or what is left of it. Thank you very much for all the participation. It was awesome. We will see you all again next week. Take care of yourselves.
Awesome. See you, everyone. Take care.
See you guys. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.